All right, so I'm here with Elena, who is here with us today, doing her art. And so, Elena, can you tell us like about a little bit about your style, like the way that you work?
Right. Well, I do a lot of tracing. So basically, because I'm first a digital artist, so I'm now and then trying to take it on paper as opposed to the other way around. So I go through a lot of magazines and different newspapers, just finding photographs or images with like shapes of body parts of people, of like interesting things.
Okay.
And then I just trace them and combine them in different ways, and then I do lots of like kind of different thickness of pens,
So
like cross stitching and stuff. So it's almost like coloring, like for kids.
Okay. So in a sense, you could say that you kind of find ways to bring like your graphic abilities to like a very illustrative style.
In a way, it's like I always think of it as my Photoshop on paper, because it's the same as when I would take different graphical elements and put them together in a collage on my computer, but I'm trying to do this with my hands.
Things you could do without clip art.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to take, because I'm only interested in the shape, so I also do sometimes homework on the computer. I would take my own photographs or other people's photographs and I'll create like traces out of them, so they act like stencils, and then transfer them on paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as well, obviously you've lived outside of Trinidad, you know, but I want you to talk a little bit about your experience, you know, seeing like people who do illustrations outside of Trinidad, and like your experiences with artists that you've met here, you know, like the differences maybe that you may have picked up.
I think in many ways, I lived in London for like 5 years before moving to Trinidad, and I went to school there as well. So obviously being surrounded by a lot of like very, very creative people, where there's like probably more creative people per square mile than anywhere else in the world. You're almost getting a bit numb because there's so much creativity. But main difference, I'd say that at least, well, I'm from Russia, so like it's also the kind of difference I find between the Russian artists as well, from like the Londoners, which can be all from different countries, that people are not afraid to do whatever they want, even if they don't know, even if that's not by the book, even if that's not how you're supposed to do it.
This is the London artist.
Yes. So I find that in like other places, like where I'm from, for example, or sometimes here in Trinidad, it's like you have to stick to. A lot of people seem to have the subconscious of how you have to stick to.
Yeah, they have rules and they try to.
So basically, I mean, I can't hand draw, like I can't free sketch. So obviously, if somebody who can't hand free draw shouldn't really be touching a pad when you think about it. But see, I try to find my own way because, well, I lived with a French girl who is like quite a big illustrator in London now. And she actually can draw by hand, but she also used to use lots of the same tracing techniques, how she would take like different magazine clippings and trace some of them for shapes, and I sort of borrowed it from her and tried to see what I can do with it. And I developed my own kind of stuff with coloring and pens, but still it's nothing can really stop you. So I find that, to my joy, that a lot of people in Trinidad now starting crawling out of their little island box and starting exploring new things. They're starting to research more and try to be more open to what people are doing abroad, because this is really what you should be doing. I mean, internet is free, and it's the easiest thing to have access to these days. And on the internet there is an endless like galaxy of creativity that you can tap into, and you always have to push yourself to try and see what is out there and not just be kind of
boxed into just like these rules.